to what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so um, Abo and I are actually working on a project right now where we are dissecting various elements of the First and Second World War and what the basic impacts that they had on a lot of the concepts that we live with and humanity has lived with for a long time. But in doing this work, right, there's something that I realized. You know, when Germany used propaganda the way it did, after the Second World War was over, the world knew the power of propaganda. Like from that moment onward, it was on. One could also like basically say like a Cold War was inevitable. It was just a matter of time because this war of information had been sparked. People saw that there was another way to fight because the Germans were doing it and doing it well, you see, and nobody was doing it as well as they were, and everybody was surprised, like, holy shit, dog, like the people over there are basically brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people understood that, okay, there's a different way to fight battles, you know? Now, the thing is with a physical war, you know how it's going to end, you know, destruction, blood and death, you know, the usual. But with a war of information, how does that actually end? No one really knows. So at best, it's a something that can give you an advantage, you know, to you know strike up fanatical kind of belief in the army, whatever you need, you know, with regard to people's loyalties and what they think and believe, right? It's an advantage, but it's an advantage to waging proper war, but it's not something that can achieve a victory, or so everybody thought. And then I think around the mid 2000s to like 2010s, a lot of governments around the world started to realize that, holy shit, dog, especially when the internet started to become available across the world. A lot of governments started to realize, holy shit, dog, the youth, my young generation, the next generation of workforce, they rap. You know what I'm saying? They wear baggy pants, they're getting tattoos. They started to see that there's a lot of Western culture seeping into our society. Our culture is starting to be like a second, like an afterthought. And a lot of Western culture, a lot of our people identify with elements of Western culture as being who they are. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it was a big waking up for everyone, especially for China. They saw that shit and they were like, holy shit, you know. I think at some point, I can't remember clearly, at some point they called the US out like, hey, you guys need to relax with your media that you're pumping into our fucking place, you know? And so it's like, that was it. That was the victory, where it's like, no blood needs to be shed. They'll buy all your products. They'll speak the way that you do. They'll value your culture. You will rule the world because everyone will believe in you. You see what I'm saying? In your culture, your way of doing things. That was the victory for the war of information.
Maybe it's somewhat of what's more expensive, right? Winning this
Mm.
informational war or fighting, you
Mm.
know. I guess I
Because the
realized just
information war makes money. If you're winning, you're making money
yeah,
under a
and
sort of like
physical
pseudo
wars,
capitalistic
physical
way.
wars, physical wars have historically lost money.
Mm.
Even the nations that win physical wars, you know, none of their countries have gone into some form of recession, and that recession actually opened the gates to whatever else horror is gonna is gonna take over the country next. So I guess with the whole information sector and the way the world is right now, let me actually ask you both you gentlemen this. Is this a better way of how would you say uh, ordering the world using almost the information sector to fight wars, to negotiate, to kind of exist within how would say.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Please repeat what you're saying.